This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and for the first time in a long time I'm delighted to be joined by Adam Smith in person instead of over a Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Adam, how are you?
I much prefer this, Andy. It's great to see you, and yeah, we're not the best on Zooms and the computers and the sofas in people's houses and all that sort of stuff, and I know things have frozen and things have sort of gone off and whatever, but it's great to be back. It's fantastic to work on an event like this, the biggest of the year, obviously, with Anthony Joshua back defending his world heavyweight titles against the unbeaten, the maverick, the eccentric, and wonderful Oleksandr Usyk. So really excited about this. It's great to have fans back at Tottenham. I've worked really closely with the guys at Spurs and to make sure that, you know, what. It's going to be a phenomenal night, isn't it? It's going to be a great broadcast. It's going to be a great event, and I think having 67,000 fans back at, you know, arguably the greatest stadium in the world now, with all the, you know, the mod cons it has and the incredible sort of sights it has around the whole stadium. It's a fantastic sort of. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant sort of piece of architecture, and I think the fight on Saturday and the night will be something really special. So yeah, I'm excited. But mostly to see fans back and to see you and see everybody again. It's great, isn't it? We've missed that.
Just mentioning the fans there, Adam, how important is it for boxing to have such a huge scale event on the back of a pandemic back here in the UK? Obviously we saw Canelo Saunders in the US, but we haven't had anything like that in the sport over here. How important will that be to give everything a boost once again?
Everybody needs a boost. It's been a really difficult, 18 months, 2 years almost for so many families, so many sports fans, and we had sport off air for a while at the beginning, and then we had it back, and we did everything we could with things like the fight camp, the first fight camp, and then we had boxing in bubbles, and everyone was tested, and it was difficult, and I think that we did the best we could. There were some great matches made, especially the women. It was fantastic to see, Terry Harper and Tasha and Katie and Tasha, and some really good fights, and Savannah Marshall coming through, and look, we did what we could, but obviously without the fans, it's boxing as a sport needs the atmosphere, it needs the warmth and love of the fans, and that's what we all sort of thrive off. So yeah, it's great having that back and having it in a massive way as well. So we had AJ for, I think, with 1,000 fans for the Purewal fight at Wembley. We had nearly 70,000, and I think they could have sold Spurs out 2 or 3 times on Saturday. So it's great to be back with a real bang.
AJ Usyk, Saturday night, Adam. It's a fight which, as we've drawn nearer, having looked at comments online, a lot of people are making it a lot closer than what it was originally, just because of a natural size difference. AJ's pedigree already proven at heavyweight. Still question marks over Usyk up at heavyweight. What's your take now? We're only a few days away. What are you expecting on Saturday?
Yeah, I've always been excited about this fight and waiting for it to happen. Obviously, we thought that it would be the Fury matchup, the big matchup in August. That didn't happen. So in steps Oleksandr Usyk, and Oleksandr Usyk loves coming to the Lion's Den, doesn't he? I mean, look at what he did in the World Super Series. Obviously, he struck Olympic gold just round the corner at the same Olympics as AJ, heavyweight and super heavyweight, and he's been gunning for Joshua, I think, for 10 years. So, look, he's unbeaten. It's a fantastic opportunity for him. He's a wonderful, technician. He's got great agility and mobility. He's a southpaw. Joshua hasn't fought, many of those. One as a professional, and in the amateurs he was stopped as well by Nihai Mister. So I think that it's a dangerous fight for Joshua. He's had his eyes on Fury. I think look, he looked really good against Pulev. He'd obviously learned a great deal since the Ruiz defeat. He's added to his camp. He's got a huge team around him now. The general, the captain, Robert McCracken, alongside Joby Clayton and Angel Fernandez. And I think that's a really good sort of fit for Joshua. I've been up watching him spar. He looks light, he looks lean, he looks like he's sort of really enjoyed sparring and learning things. He's had a load of southpaw sparring partners in, but no one can replicate Usyk. And yeah, it's a bit like Lomachenko, isn't it? They're from the same the same world. Papa Lomachenko behind Usyk, Loma's coming too. I think it's going to be fantastic to watch the sort of mental games that Usyk might play in the next few days. And on the night, I think it's a really, really interesting fight. You've got to make Anthony favourite. Obviously, he's got the experience, he's got the size, the strength, the power. We don't know about Usyk, whether he can take, AJ's punches, either at the beginning or at the end. But what we do know is that if he gets into a rhythm, he can make it very, very tricky for Joshua. So I think it's a really competitive fight, just like we have in a couple of weeks later with Fury and Wilder again. And you expect Joshua to come through like you expect Fury to come through. But I tell you what, it would not surprise me if there were 2 upsets there. So that's what heavyweight boxing's about. It's a fantastic fight. It's a mandatory fight. He's undefeated. He's a winner, Usyk, and he knows Joshua's been beaten, and he's very, very, very confident that he can do it again.
How important are those first 3 or 4 rounds, Adam, for Usyk to kind of find a rhythm and for AJ to prevent Oleksandr Usyk from doing so? How important is it for, in AJ's case, to assert his dominance if he's to be successful early on?
Andy, you know your stuff. It's all about the first 3 or 4 rounds of this. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see, in a 20-foot inside ring, what Oleksandr Usyk's tactics are early. Is he going to be very, very sort of circumspect? Is he going to wait? Joshua seems to me as though he's going to try and box his way and look for a sort of apply the pressure maybe in the second half of the fight. I think he's been training for 15 rounds, let alone 12, Joshua. So Usyk will need to get into that rhythm, and that's key. It's not a 4-round fight, it's not a 6-round fight, it's a 12-round championship fight. So Usyk's going to have to be careful that, with the weight advantage that Joshua has, that he leaves something for sort of later on. But he also needs to make a very quick start, because he can't let Joshua establish the pace and get behind his jab. And if he hurts Usyk early, then it could be very interesting. So it's a very interesting sort of first 3 or 4 rounds, and I think that it's going to be a bit of a chess match. Interesting that Joshua's playing chess now as a hobby, and I think that it's going to be very tactical early, and it may be a little bit like the Parker fight. It may be sort of no fireworks in the first 3 or 4 rounds, and might just take a little bit of time for the fight to really get going. I think that depends largely on the tactics that Oleksandr Usyk implements, but he'll know he needs to win some of those early rounds.
Adam, obviously the workout's just started, so I just want to fast forward on to a couple of other topics. I will catch you on the undercard a couple of days' time at a press conference or at the weigh-in.
Whenever you want.
I appreciate that, Adam. But obviously earlier we saw the news that Matchroom had agreed a long-term promotional deal with Anthony. So I just wanted to get an update from you what that means for kind of his network situation. Obviously I know you guys will be keen to try and tie him down as well.
Of course we're keen to try and tie him down. He's been with us from the very beginning, just like he's been with Eddie and Matchroom, and I think that word loyalty is a big thing for Anthony. He stayed with Robert McCracken even after he lost in New York. He added to the team. He stayed loyal with Eddie, and I hope and think that he'll stay loyal with us. I don't see any reason. We've been a great partnership for many years, Anthony and Sky, and those press conferences we've had at Sky HQ with the likes of Klitschko and others, and it's been fantastic. I think he's really enjoyed working with us, and it's obviously well documented. This is his final one on this contract, but we're working very hard to ensure that we carry on with Anthony Joshua, and hopefully for a very, very long time.
Do you have a timeline in place as to when you'd like to see some kind of a deal agreed? Or?
No, we don't talk about contracts behind the scenes. There's negotiations, there's discussions, and they're ongoing. And I think that when we've got news to announce, we will. I think that the most important thing for Anthony and Freddie and the whole team at the moment is to concentrate on the job in hand. As we've talked about, it's a very difficult assignment this week. Anthony needs to get through it. Oleksandr Usyk could upset the apple cart again, and then who knows where we'll be and where we'll be with heavyweight boxing when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury have their third fight. So all this nice talk of AJ Fury and nice tied up contracts. Obviously Matchroom have announced today that they've got Anthony for pretty much the remainder of his career, and how long he'll go on for we don't know, do we? But it's a long-term deal, and we hope that we can do something with Anthony which is very similar. We would be, boxing's a business where things can change, but with Anthony everything's been fantastic with us and him over the years, and I think he loves fighting and working with Sky, and I think that he'll be on the Sky box office platform hopefully for a very long time. But there's discussions to be had, negotiations behind the scenes, but very much I think he needs to focus on Saturday night, and hopefully we'll have something exciting to announce soon. But no, we can't comment any further, and I think you'll be wrong too. So, but I will say, Andy, I'm very confident that Anthony is loyal, and I think he loves Sky, and so I'm hoping that he'll make the right decision and stay with our platform for a very, very long time, because we've got some really exciting things coming up, Andy, as you well know, with our new deals with Boxer and with Top Rank. It's a huge amount to look forward to. It's a new era for us in many ways. We had a great time with Matchroom, but it's Top Rank now for 18 fights coming to us and 14 fights on the UK soil with Ben Shalom, a boxer who I'm really enjoying working with. And obviously we hope Anthony Joshua will stay very much part of Sky, and I believe he will.
So you mentioned, Con, you have had a great relationship with Matchroom, achieved a lot of things together and had some great success with each other over the years. Heading into this week, what is the mood like between kind of Sky and Matchroom? People kind of pick up on a few comments on social media thinking, is there a little subtle jibe there, back and forth? What is the mood like?
No jibes for me, Andy. I mean, it's listen, people can say what they want to say, but Matchroom and Sky have been very, very successful for many years on the boxing. We still have relationships with them on the darts and various other sports. I do some darts commentary as well away from this, and so look, it's been very professional. Yes, they made the decision to go to DAZN and take their whole stable away, and in many ways we have to go again. We've made some big announcements. We've got some great fighters for you in the coming weeks. Chris Eubank next week, Richard Riakporhe. Can't wait for David Avanesian's return. We've got a Newcastle bill on September the 16th, our first tournament show, November. I mean, it's really exciting. Josh Taylor, of course, in a undisputed, unified, fantastic fight with Jack Catterall on Sky Sports before Christmas. So really, really exciting times. But this week is all about Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk. Of course, we work with Matchroom. It's a professional relationship. It's a business, and we work together to deliver everything we can on fight week, and we will, and it will sparkle Saturday night. Trust me, it will be a fantastic event, and I think that people will be very not surprised, but they'll be very pleased to see the fans back and all our toys out and everyone working in unison to make sure that this event is absolutely fantastic, and it's one for the memory books, and that's what we want to ensure. We can't guarantee what happens in the ring. That's up to AJ and Oleksandr to provide the fireworks, and the undercard fighters like Lawrence Okoli and Callum Smith and everybody. But what we can guarantee is that we're putting everything into this to make this a spectacular show. I'm sure Matchroom are, I'm sure 258 are, I know Tottenham are, and Sky are definitely doing exactly that, Andy.
Final thing, Adam, as we're mentioning potential competitors, obviously two of your competitors could soon become one. DAZN apparently close to agreeing a deal to buy out BT. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that recent news.
That's exactly what I want. Let them know you're out here. Chris Owsley.
Just wait for David to finish. He's got a very loud voice.
In the selfie, you got to do it. Big fight week, and he's now going to go talk to Chris and Darren over here as we wait for our next fighter to come up.
I'll repeat the question, Adam.
No worries, sorry,
that's
I think
okay.
it's about DAZN and BT.
So obviously I'm sure you've seen DAZN are close to, or seem to be close to, agreeing a deal to buy out BT. Two of your competitors, just want to get your thoughts on seeing that news.
I mean, that's been talked about for a long time. So, if that happens, it happens. And
ladies and gentlemen, our next fighter's now making his way to the ring.
We wait. Listen, we wait and see. We wait and see what happens. I mean, look, BT are on the Sky platform. BT are covering the obviously the Fury Wilder trilogy fight. Let's see what happens, and let's wait for what news. I mean, news and speculation is what it is, and my business is the Sky business. And we're concentrating on that, and we embrace competitors, we embrace rivalries, and it keeps everyone on their toes. And the most important thing, I think, for sports fans and fight fans and fighters is to have this choice, is to have competition. It keeps everybody really sort of focused, and we all want the best for the sportsmen and women, and I think that's really important. So look, we're in the Sky business, but we're obviously aware of other things that go on outside, and we'll react and move forward accordingly. But for us, it's a brand new era, and it starts on October the 2nd. But first, it's an enormous and special week for us, because it's an AJ week in a big fight with Oleksandr Usyk, who we know well, and it's Sky Sports box office on Saturday night, and we can't wait for that to happen. So let's enjoy this week. Let's put everything into this week, and then we'll move on, and it'll be interesting times going forwards. And I think I'm really interested to see what Ben and the Boxer team do. I think there's going to be more access to fighters. I think there's going to be some real surprises going forward, and I think we've got a platform that is going to be rock solid on the back of the Premier League and every other sport. Ryder Cup this week as well, so it's not just AJ. We've got a lot happening, and yeah, we're in a very good place and very happy to be firing on all cylinders here at Sky.
Adam, as always, I appreciate your time, and we'll catch you in a couple of days. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
No problem at all, anytime.